Good evening, everybody, and welcome. I'll try that again. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Forwards E-Streaming. Third time the job tonight. Sorry, everything decided it was going to go a bit skew with there. Welcome to the ANZCAR Thunder. Yes, it's the X-Finity season, and we are here tonight at Worldwide Technology Raceway, aka Gateway, and we are in for a treat tonight. If you've never been to Gateway, never seen this track before, it is a very interesting one, a very different one, and can be a challenging one. Indeed. I'm Mr. Carl Wilkinson with you, and I'm joined up here in the commentary booth by Mr. Mark Johansson. Mark, how you going, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Good to be here, WWRT. Bit of a strange track tonight. It's not an oval, it's not a tri-oval, but it's an egg. So there's some interesting racing tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very, very different track if you've not raced it before. It's a bit slippery as well. Expect to see some drivers struggling with this one. We're looking at 22 degree air temperature, 35 degrees track temperature tonight. Here, that could absolutely cause some havoc. Let us run through the starting grid for tonight's race, and taking pole position is Mr. Dave Douglas of Casting Couch fame. He's starting alongside Jason Martin. Next row on row number 2, it's Andrew Dyson with Mr. Lachlan Urquio. Row number 3, we've got Gary Wellman and Ruben Phelps. Row 4 is Shane Bowen and Josh Micklemore. Row number 5, we've got Scott Lefevre and Barry Neal. On row 6 is David Webb with Stevie Dubb. Row number 7, it's Kate Donnelly with Wesley Closey. Row number 8, we got Tristan Koch and Nicholas Crawford. Row number 9 is Tom Williams and Greg Shelton. On row number 10 tonight, we have Brad Fenley with Mr. Norman Clark. On row 11, it's newcomer Ed Fox with returning driver Kai Turner. And right at the back, we have Jared Williams starting on the 12th row. 23 cars out there tonight. Pretty packed grid, Mark. We should be in for some fun.
Yeah, if the last week's race can carry over to this week's race, we're definitely going to see some great racing through this field tonight. Just trying to see. It looks like Kai Turner and Jarrett Williams hasn't made the lineup, so we'll keep up to date with that one as soon as I can.
Okie dokie, we'll keep our eyes on that one for sure. Hopefully, though, they will be able to get to the track and maybe get a start from the pit lane. Pace car has pulled in. They're getting ready to go green. We're going to shut up so you can enjoy the start of tonight's race. And it's Dave Douglas leading away. We saw somebody just giving the wall a little clip down towards the back, but it looks like everybody is underway and racing pretty well.
Yeah, Dyson got a great start there. Seemed to give Dave Douglas a little bit of a love tap on that start, but Dave has been able to get that little bump and run, and has gone away. And Dyson has now fallen back to 6th position.
Yeah, just behind Gary Wellman at the moment. And yeah, plenty of action on the track at the moment. But Dave Douglas getting away like a scalded dog and getting himself a good lead. Some battles down further in the pack. Scott Lefevre battling it out with Nicholas Crawford there, fighting it out with each other. Watch out for drivers taking advantage of that little bit of concrete on the right-hand side as they're coming into turns 3 and 4. Sometimes you'll see drivers just taking a little bit of extra room and taking that little runoff. We saw Jason Martin doing it at the start, but see if anybody decides to do that in this race. But at the moment, Dave Douglas is, well, he's doing well.
Yeah, definitely doing well. Already out to almost a second gap as I say that, it just ticks over to 1.04 seconds over Jason Martin and Lachlan Urquio, and Ruben Phelps up there in fourth place. So SRM are definitely not doing their usual thing and sitting back. They're definitely having a go from the get-go tonight.
Yeah, they are charging their way towards the front of the pack. We normally see them just holding back a little bit, but tonight they are going for it. And it looks like pretty much everybody has managed to make the track. We've got Norman Clark towards the back at the moment. Watch out for that car working its way up the field. Usually it will start off a little bit slower, just getting the tyres to a good spot.
Now we have had a change. Ruben Phelps now moves himself up into third place, being able to get that pass made on Gary Willman there, coming out of turn 2 down the back straight.
Yeah, watch out for Ruben here. It's one of those tracks that tends to suit the Flying Kiwi, and this could be a good night for the SRM team. They are looking to have some good results here. And, well, Ruben Phelps would like to start his season off a bit better than he did in the trucks and get his championship attack underway. But, of course, he has 21 other drivers looking to do the exact same thing here tonight.
Everyone's behaving themselves at the moment down nice and single file, and as I say that, you scan back to a shot where we're too wide.
Drivers always like to make liars of us, Mark, and looks like the two valve cars of Tom Williams and Scott Lefebvre are just wanting to do that as Tom Williams gives the wall a huge clatter on the outside there. Big hit. Looks like he's just about gotten away with it, but that would have been a big wake-up call for the 55.
Yeah, definitely don't want to be hitting the wall there because there's no safety barrier. So it's car on cement. So definitely not one thing you want to be doing a great deal of tonight.
Those concrete walls are they're pretty unforgiving. There's not any give in them whatsoever. When we're talking about the safer barrier, if you look on the outside of the corner, there's like an extra row of barrier. And you'll see it going into the corner and the exit of corner, just where that 5 Hour Energies logo is up at the top there. And they were introduced back in the late 90s, early noughties. I remember when they were introduced onto the ovals. Yes, I'm old. But huge innovation and a thing that's saved so many drivers' lives since then, and really has been such a big improvement on oval tracks. Really a fantastic addition to the oval racing, but it just gives that little bit more give than the horrible concrete walls, which will absolutely rip a car apart.
Yeah, mate, you say you're old. I can still remember ANZCAR railing around the outside of the racetrack.
Mark, don't you remember when it was hay bales and old tyres? I mean,
That was just as I was being born, mate. They started to change away from them.
Of course, no, that was Edward Foster, of course. He was back in the day of hay bales and... I'm sure he'll appreciate me saying that one. We'll move on quickly before I get murdered.
We can see now Dyson's really starting to close that gap, he has closed that gap to Gary Willman. And this is a strange place, a little bit like Darlington, where it's two separate types of corners. You've really got to ride the brake to get the car turned in 1 and 2, and then a nice easy flowing corners through 3 and 4. So keep an eye on for the tyre, the brakes to get hot, and some mix-ups here with the braking markers.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to get the brakes set up nicely, and the tricky thing with this place is as well is you've got that really tight corner as you're going into 3 and as you're going into 1 and 2. It's much tighter at this section of the track, so you've got to give the brakes a bit more of a squeeze. You've got to turn in a little bit harder. You might want to put a little bit more rear brake bias in just to get the rear turned for you. And then coming down to this next segment, right at the back here, so you see Gary Wellman taking advantage of that little bit of extra track. Bit of a wider radius corner. And it just gives you a little bit of a little bit more you can get through. And Dyson takes a nice tight line there, swings up in front of Wellman and takes the position. and nicely done. And well, we caught that one well, catching it from the onboard and catching the move in itself. But you might see drivers just shifting the brake bias a little bit between the two corners here, just to give them a little bit of extra purchase into the tight corner and a little bit more stability into the wide angle corner. So, you know, these little things can make such a big difference on a track like this. We are running, of course, fixed setup in this series, so not much you can do to change the way the car feels, but you can absolutely tweak the brake bias, and that is such a huge tool inside one of these race cars. Can make the difference. And now we're seeing Jason Martin putting Dave Douglas under all kinds of pressure. This is the battle for first place.
Yeah, we knew it wouldn't be long before Martin got up there on the DD. Definitely going to be a great battle here between these two. Some long-time combatants. So let's see how this pans out. The other big difference with this track, Carl, is turn 1 and 2, you've got 11 degrees of banking, and then down in 3 and 4, it's only 9 degrees. So that's a great big difference there.
Yeah, it's one of the big challenges of Gateway, and it really does add a little bit of extra jeopardy to this track, because the corners are so very different. And you know, we talk about different corners in, you know, in circuit racing. You know, obviously, you know, every corner is quite different on a traditional track, but on ovals, you tend to get very similar corners. You know, there's not many ovals out there with real significant changes from turns 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Gateway is one of those tracks that really does have those differences in there. And you've got to approach the corner differently almost every lap, because your tyres start to wear down, your brakes start to heat up. You know, all of these little things come into there, and you are constantly having to adapt how the car drives. So it is a really challenging racetrack, and it is such a challenging place to drive, because you don't have any really nice long straights to relax on. It is almost constantly getting yourself into those corners.
Yeah, 100% right. I'm just trying to do the arithmetic here for metric people, but just give me 1 minute and we'll be able to work it out.
As Jason Martin gets a great run out of turns 1 and 2, gets the run on the inside of Dave Douglas and looks to make the move. Can Dave hold it on the outside? Back end just steps out a tiny bit. Should be able to get a run off the corner, but Martin's got the move done. He's going to slide it up in front of Dave Douglas. Moves himself up into the lead of the race. The 21 taking the lead from the number 10, Dave Douglas. Great move there from Jason Martin. You can see there the driver's just taking advantage of that little bit of extra road, just getting the car out a little bit to try and get a little bit of extra turn into the corner. You know, it's a bit of a dangerous thing to do, but it can work in the favour, and breaking the toe as well. So trying all different little tricks here in the book to see what they can do. Got a couple of ANZCAR rookies out here tonight, or faces we haven't seen for a long time. Nicholas Crawford out here in 13th position, having a good run ahead of David Webb, one of the newcomers to the series. Both of them having a good run in 13th, 14th position. Ed Fox, newcomer in the Qantas liveried Toyota, up in 18th position, having a good first run in the series. Greg Shelton just towards the back at the moment in the number 4 Mustang, struggling a little bit for rear stability, has taken a bit of a whack on the right front as well. Not going absolutely perfectly for him. Hopefully he can get that car settled and get in for a decent run latterly in this race. Got a big battle happening here down the pack between Gary Wellman, Josh Micklemore, Stevie Dubb as well, as Josh Micklemore's looking to make the move on Gary Wellman at the moment. Down the inside he goes, and the 31 Mitch Motorsport car is looking to make the move, as Wellman's just starting to drop down the order a little bit, starting to struggle maybe with those tyres, maybe a little bit too much heat in them. Not quite got the pace at this stage on lap 21 of 150 here at Gateway. World by Technology Raceway here for the ANZCAR Thunder Series. It is the X-Finity here on Performance E-Streaming.
Yeah, now Carl, you were talking about the straights. The straights are actually two different lengths. the front straights are 1,922 foot or 585 metres, so it's not a great deal. And the back straight's a little fraction longer, being 1,976 feet or 602 metres. So there's definitely not any time, any great length of time to have a rest, to stretch your hands, or even to think about taking a drink here. So where we see on those on the 1.5s, you tend to be able to get a nice chance to stretch your one arm, one lap, then the other arm, or take a sip of water. Here you really don't have a chance. It's really concentration 100% of the lap.
Yeah, absolutely. It is one of those places that really it's quite demanding, and as you say, you don't get a chance to have a glug of water or anything like that. That's where you are praying for a pace car. Sometimes you're praying for the caution to allowed to come out, just so you can have a little bit of a stretch, have a sip of water, and get yourself feeling a little bit better. You can of course do it in the pit stops, but you really don't have a huge amount of time, and you're not going to have that many options to sort of really have a moment of breathing in a race like this as well, especially if you're somebody like Gary Wellman right now and under the attack of Stevie Dubb, one of our big veterans in the series. We just saw Kate Donnelly there giving the safer barrier a little bit of a rub on the exit of turn number 4. Quite a few drivers giving the wall a little bit of a rub tonight, but currently all of them still circulating, everybody on the lead lap, and well, no cautions as of yet.
Yeah, I'm just watching some of these cars. You can see now going into turns 1 and 2, cars starting to tighten up and getting a big push up track. So that tells me that left front is really starting to hurt on some of these guys.
Yeah, that right front's going to start screaming for agony as well. And as we said, it's a relatively warm track temperature out there tonight as well, and that's going to get the overheating kicking in as well. And as soon as you get that tyre up to a certain temperature, it's going to just stop working for you. Gary Wellman, absolute mega save there. I thought that car was going round. I thought the Simboy was going to go for an early bath there as he was fully sideways on the exit of turn number 4. Somehow got that one wrapped up and back under control, but that is not going to help the rear tyre temperature as well. When you slide like that, the rear tyres start to spin up and you start to really struggle.
Yeah, and we also have seen in the background there Wesley Closely in the 75 car give the barrier another nice big hit. So the guys won't want to be doing that too often, because it will start to take a toll on the car and on that right side.
Yeah, you do not want to be doing it too often. It is definitely a important thing to get it all right and under control and get yourselves in a good position.
Just looking at some of the times, Carl, we've seen now Jason Martin, our race leader, his best lap is a 34.06, and he's slowed to a 35.1. But the big difference in the drivers, cars out there at the moment, as we come up to 30 laps into this race, Dave Douglas' best time was a 33.7. He's now out to a 35.06. So big time difference in these tyres as we get further into this stint.
Yeah, you're going to see who is good at saving, who is good at getting everything under control. As Shane Bowen there just had a big slide himself as well. These cars are starting to get a little bit sketchy now, as we see some battling going on further down the pack. Brad Fenley, Tom Williams and Ed Fox all battling it out. Norman Clark too coming good now. He's saved those tyres a little bit and he's coming back on the attack.
Yeah, look, the two guys to really watch out for here, I think will be in the top 10 by the end of the race, is the 09 of Norman Clark and the 22 of Barry Neal, two of our other Kiwis, we know how good Barry Neal can look after those tyres. We are just see here now Barry Neal trying to make a move on Shane Bowen in the 308. Both running very similar race lines. Barry just seems to get a little bit better to run out of the turn.
Yeah, you can see he's all over the back of Shane Bowen at the moment. And a very different track for Bowen to be driving tonight as well. He's, as I said, he's about a year of experience in oval racing. Gateway's not one of those tracks you race on too much as well. And that can be tricky sometimes because, you know, if you don't get to race here too often, it can really catch you out. It's one of those tracks that is, as we said, it's quite a demanding track, and it's a place that is a bit different to some of the others out there.
Yeah, it's probably a unique track in the sense of that it's an egg shape. There's not too many other tracks out there. You know, you talk about Bristol, you talk about Dover, but they still are an oval track. As I'm just watching Greg Sheldon, he's definitely struggling and sitting on that low line, letting the guys go past on the high line.
Just keeping himself out of trouble. Not a bad thing to do, really. As Wesley Closey just has a big moment too, and look, he's getting laps under his belt, which is a crucial thing to do out here. As we see Josh Micklemore and Ruben Phelps now battling it out on track, as Micklemore is getting alive now in the long run. Definitely got some good speed here in his long run pace. Ruben Phelps just being caught a little bit now, just not quite got the same pace. It's he had some good ones earlier on, but he's just starting to struggle now. Maybe took a little bit too much life out of his tyres too early on, and is now starting to struggle a little bit. Same can be said for Dave Douglas, because he's got Lachlan Urquio now locking on to the rear of that A1 Sim Sports entered Mustang. And Lockie is looking to try and move himself up behind Jason Martin and continue the battle for the, that we saw in the trucks. And, well, you can't discount this man either. The 41 is Andrew Dyson, and he is going to be in hunting mode as well. He's definitely been saving a little bit in the early stages and is starting to come alive now in the latter laps of this stint.
Yeah, Dyson's is still is another man that can really look after those tyres, and I don't know how he does it. He just seems to be able to get one or two extra laps out of the car in fuel wise too. But we did see the other week he tried the undercut and it didn't really work out too well for him.
Oh, Urquio having a big slide through the corner there. Held that one beautifully. Didn't lose too much time. Battling it out with Dave Douglas as Tristan Koch just going down a lap there as well. But yeah, Dyson he's very good at saving, very good at just getting that little bit of extra life out of tyres and fuel, and it is one of his big skills as well as just being fast as well. You know, he's one of those drivers that you just shake your fist at sometimes, going, damn it, stop being so good. But he does help bring the level up for everybody as well. And you can see that, you know, he's not been having as many dominant races of late. Everybody's been taking it to him, which is great to see. And we're seeing the good thing about somebody coming in that is a little bit faster than people is it drives up everybody else's skill as well. And we have seen that recently. We're seeing some really great battles here in the past few weeks as Douglas just gets a little bit taily and gets moved on by Lachlan Urquio. He's looking to make the move down the inside as Douglas just had that little snap. Can Urquio do it? Can Dyson take both of them? They are racing hard. Little bit of rubbing on the outside. Douglas gets sideways. Keeps it pointing straight though. Drifting it through the corner. Dyson just on the tail of Douglas right now, almost bump drafting along as they try for position here. This is great racing.
Why this has happened, Carl? Jason Martin, the pilot of the 21 car, has been able to get almost a 4-second gap. It's now out to a 3.8 second gap over these three battling for second, third, and fourth.
Yeah, there's some good fights going on. We've got Gary Wellman, Stevie Dubb, and Ruben Phelps as well. This is another battle that is heating up on track 2. So plenty of action here. And yeah, we are seeing some great stuff from these drivers tonight. The competition is absolutely at a top level here tonight. We are seeing some great clean green racing as well. And that's the important thing. And one of the things that can be tricky on the ovals is, we know from experience, Mark, is keeping it clean, keeping it safe out there, and not getting contact with each other can be tricky, especially as your tyres and everything starts to wear down. And these drivers are doing a great job of that at the moment.
Represent there, Carl, and we've seen in the past. So we've seen it right through the truck series, and as we said the other week, it's carried over to the Thunder series, and these guys are really door to door, nose to tail battling, and just keeping it clean.
Absolutely, it's what we love to see, and look, it's one of the great things of oval racing is the racing can be just so close and just such a competitive field of drivers, and it really does bring for some great action. We saw some of that great action as well on Monday night, of course, with the lightning rounds. It is the legends at the moment, the 1987 cars out on track, and they were at Rockingham this week. Some great racing there, and some really good action again out on track. And it's something that we are so very proud of, and we're so proud of all the drivers over here as well. The Australian Oval Series is really coming alive right now, and being helped on a little bit by a couple of Kiwis who are making some big moves over in America at the moment and brought a little bit more interest to the oval side of things. But it is really starting to build up momentum at the moment, the oval side of things, especially the NASCAR side of things. And I think people are starting to realise just how much fun it is, what an enjoyable racing experience it is out there.
Yeah, definitely right. And look, the owner of the league has made an announcement yesterday, getting back to Bluegrass Street Stock Tour. It's going to be a great series designed to get rookies into the series. So if you're looking at getting into oval racing, make sure you get over to the Oz ANZCAR webpage and get registered for it and get involved in it. I'm just looking at some of the calendar. USA International Speedway, South Boston Speedway, Southern National Motorsports Park. Some great little tracks there, and it's going to be a fun series to get involved with.
Yeah, absolutely. A great opportunity for people to start out on oval racing as well. If you've always wanted to give it a bit of a go but are a little bit intimidated, that is going to be a really good starting point for you. All I'd say for advice is don't be intimidated. Come in and have a go. Worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to wreck and cause a massive accident, but that happens. You've got to learn somewhere. And generally, if you don't push too hard, if you just come in, start learning and start building up nice and easily, you will get some great experience and then find yourself moving up very quickly to some of the higher horsepower cars, some of the bigger cars out there, and finding it much easier as well, because if you start out driving the Cup car or even the X-Finity, you can really struggle at first because they are such powerful beasts and they are very tricky to get used to. When you start out in something that's a little bit less powerful, a little bit easier to get your head around, you learn the basics and they carry over to the bigger cars and give you a huge advantage as you go on. So definitely head on over, and if you fancy giving it a go, please join in on that one. It should be an absolute riot. Should be some really good racing there as well.
Yeah, look, Carl, there'll be no massive wrecks in the field because I wear the number 14 and I'm only the one that's allowed to wreck the field.
No, that is true. But I'm sure you'll get back in the car some stage, Mark, and then we have to worry about it once more.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'm definitely keen to get out there every second Wednesday night and give it a go. I probably won't make every race, but it's definitely a great starting spot for anyone, as you said, wanting to get into ovals.
We've got a pit stop happening here for Nicholas Crawford coming in the 23. We've had Tristan Koch come in as well, but we're starting to see some people needing to make those pit stops here. Lap 47. And look, this is another skill that is very, very tricky to master, is pit stops on an oval. You know, it's not too bad here because you've actually got brake temperature for a change. Often when you come into the pit lane on an oval, you do not have any brake temperature. But now you've got to get back out on track on cold tyres on a very slippery exit road. Got to be careful not to speed as well. These things do not have a limiter. You've got to do it all with your right foot and your gearbox, and then get yourself back out on track. Nice tidy pit stop there for Nicholas Crawford. Well done indeed, and he's going to be feeling absolutely like he is flying now on those fresh tyres, and we're going to see what a difference fresh tyres make over some slightly worn ones.
A very different pit lane entry here too. Where normally 95% of the tracks it's off turn 4, the pit entry. Here it's at the start of turn 3. So midway down the back straight, you've got to come into your pit lane, and it's a very long pit lane to traverse. And we see now Dave Douglas in.
Double D, Dave Douglas, number 10, coming in for his service. He's going to start right at the far part of the lane, a long old drive to get to your pit box. Gets it turned in nicely, and then we'll get underway again and get back out onto the track. So we're starting to see some of the leaders coming in now as well. Stevie Dubb bringing it in, as well as Shane Bowen. So we're starting to get these green flag pit stops underway. Currently it's Jason Martin who has got a 4-second lead over Andrew Dyson and Lachlan Urquio. Josh Micklemore sits in 4th position, Ruben Phelps in 5th. Then we have Gary Wellman, Barry Neal, Wesley Closey having a fantastic drive in the 75 tonight. Cade Donnelly and David Webb up in 10th position. The question is when does Martin pull the trigger? He's got he's in an ideal position at the moment. He has got a 4-second gap behind him. That means he doesn't need to worry about the car behind him performing an undercut. He can pit safely as long as he doesn't make any mistakes and get back out into the lead of this race. He can even just sit out there and just maybe get the advantage of a caution as well. So we're going to see what we can get here from Jason Martin. And of course, what can Double D do as well on those fresh tyres? He's going to have the advantage of some serious speed now, and he's going to try for the undercut on some of these drivers, see what he can do, see if he can get himself up a few positions here.
If we're going to get a caution, Carl, this will be the time where the guys aren't used to a full tank of fuel again and cold tyres. So just definitely be keeping an eye out for a caution here.
Jason Martin bringing it into the lane. It's time to stop for the 21 as he brings it in. And this is a great example of that pit lane, Mark. As you were saying, it's such a long pit entry here, and you just got to get that car turned in. There's a lot of time you can lose or gain with the pit entry and exit here as well. So expect to see some drivers doing that, but it is very easy very easy to make a mistake coming into this pit lane as well, and you can easily lose it across the track on the entry and the exit. So it is a bit perilous, but if you can make it absolutely timed right, you can absolutely nail this place.
Yeah, and this is one place where you're more than likely to get a speeding penalty in pit lane, because you've seen there how long that pit lane is. The actual pit lane where you've got to stop isn't until you get back in onto the inside wall there, coming out of turn 4, and it's a blind spot to see that not the commitment cone, but the reduced speed cone.
Yeah, it is a place that is so easy to have mistakes on, and I've also been caught out here once with the pit entry by somebody deciding to come in off of turn 4 and taking me out. That was an interesting experience, but you know, it is one of those places that it's so easy to have mistakes happen. It's so easy to make an error here and find yourself dropping down the order. Dave Douglas has managed to jump Jason Martin, so that's the power of the undercut. But now he has Jason Martin all over his tail on fresh tyres, and I very much would not want to be in Dave's shoes right now, because Martin is going to be putting him under all kinds of pressure.
And we can still see Dyson's still out there. Lachlan Urquio still to make a stop. Josh Mickelmore and Ruben Phelps and Wesley Closely still to come in for their first service.
How long can they extend here? That's going to be the question. Can they get it to lap 75? I very much doubt it, but they are going to try and extend a little bit to try and shorten those stops, and also have some nice fresh tyres latterly in this stint as well. They're going to take some pain now to get some nice advantages in this stint, and if it goes green, that could really pay off.
So we still
jump. Oh, sorry, Mark.
I was just going to say, we still got the 5 cars out there to stop. So if they can make it to 75, Carl, that's going to be a great race distance. It's definitely halfway, and let's hope we see a few of these guys do that.
Well, remember last week we saw Lachlan Urquio trying for a single stop. He extended his stint as well. We're jumping on board now with Urquio, seeing if we can detect any lifting and coasting or anything like that. But we are seeing them try to extend here. There's no clutching or anything like that. Not much of a clutching opportunity at this place as well, because you tend to run, the car gets very tight when you clutch it, and that can be really problematic. But they are definitely looking to try and extend here, so will we see some people going for a one-stop, see if they can make it work? That will really add some strategy to this race and make for an interesting one. But their lap time's 35.5, they're about the mid-35s at the moment. Guys on fresh tyres are a full second a lap quicker. Can they close the gap down and make this work on a two-stop strategy? This is the kind of thing we love, Mark, is seeing different strategies playing out.
Yeah, 100%. While we were on board there with Lachlan, I just jumped on board Dyson. He's not clutching, but he is right out of the gas from about mid-corner through to the exit corner. So he's definitely saving a little bit of fuel that way, but no actual real clutching.
So we've seen Phelps, Mickelmore and Closey coming into the lane. They could not make it. 62 laps into this stint. How much further can the 42 and 41 go? They are in running order, and Dyson has to pull it in. He's not going to make it, but he goes wide. It's exactly what we were talking about, the entry here. You've got to be so careful, and that's going to lose him a whole heap of time. He manages to keep it on the track, but he gets a really messy pit entry there for Dyson.
Now this is that's unusual for Dyson. We can normally guarantee that Dyson is the quickest person in and out of pit lane, but again, Carl, that long pit lane and just a slippery pit lane surface has caught him out a little bit there.
Now, did he manage to get it slowed down in time, or did he get himself a penalty? We will find out very soon, I'm sure.
No black flags coming up next to his name as yet, so looks like he has been able to slow that car down to the required speed in pit lane, 45 mile an hour.
That would have been a very, very tense couple of moments in that car. And I imagine if Dyson was sitting on some coal, he would be having a diamond underneath him right now. That was definitely a sketchy entry, but he just about saved himself there. He's got out ahead of his teammate, Stevie Dubb, actually. And he is now 9 seconds off the lead, but he has much fresher tyres, and he can absolutely start to try and close that gap down. Same for Lachlan Urquio. What can he do in this stint now as well? They are on a much fresher set of tyres, but they now have to close that gap. So a lot of work still to come, and, well, they're all going to have to make another pit stop as well.
Yeah, definitely. So we say 63 laps for Dyson on the fuel, so that puts him out to 120 roughly before we should see him back in the pit lane. And where that figure helps him, Carl, is a very short fill and some fresh rubber.
Yeah, the trouble is, though, is he's going to have to take all 4 tyres in that second stop, and that's going to basically negate the fuel load, really. So it won't be too much of an advantage. He might be able to save himself a second or so in the pit lane, but I'm sure he was hoping to extend it a bit further than this, or maybe get a lucky caution. So definitely not quite played out at this moment. But we are seeing some really good runs here. 66 laps of green flag running here at Gateway. And it is Jason Martin in the lead, 4 seconds ahead of Dave Douglas. Andrew Dyson and Lachlan Urquio, though, closing in now. And they are going to hope to close the gap and get themselves up into the lead. Plenty of action still to come here tonight. Good racing going on as well between Wesley Closey, Brad Fenley and Norman Clark. This is a battle for 14th, 15th and 16th position.
What's really good too to see is that you know we've got some guys that are a lap down now. Just watching the lap cars with Jason Martin, and they're doing the right thing, moving to the high line, giving the race leader unobstructed run through the traffic. So good to see some good sportsmanship there from those lap cars.
Absolutely, and look, it's one of the things, you don't need to jump out the way on an oval. There's no blue flags in oval racing, but you know, there's no point in losing yourself a whole heap of time battling the leader and possibly costing yourself a good spot in the race, and, well, costing them a good finish as well. So, you know, it's one of those things you have to weigh up the options and weigh up what's going to be the best option for your attack and, well, the best option for your race as well. So the gap is closing between these drivers, and Dave Douglas is going to be looking in his mirror and seeing, well, he's got a monster car behind him at the moment, but he will see the distinctive white and red of the Sim Rigs car, the DPR car by NP Designs, of course. And that distinctive paint job will be catching his eye soon as he sees Dyson closing in with Lachlan Urquio right on his tail. Lockie is absolutely flying at the moment, really showing good pace this season, and is well, showing consistency as well. He is constantly right up there and bringing the battle to everybody this season.
Yeah, very great series for him, for Urquio in the truck series, and he's definitely picked up here in the Thunder series where he left off from the truck. Some great speed in that car, and again some great design work from the SRM team.
battle here between Scott Lefevre and Wesley Closey, 13th and 14th position. And again, this team doing well. Valve Esports team coming along well with their sojourn into oval racing. A lot of experience on the road stuff, but new to the oval side of things. And they are coming along leaps and bounds and doing some great work with each other and really helping each other improve as well. Good to see. And they are currently not in the highest positions, but they are having some good runs out there and definitely getting some more experience under their belt.
Yeah, it's good to see some road races come across to oval, and we've seen some handy guys. Tom Williams there in the 55. Not a track that suits him here. He's more suited to the 1.5s and bigger, but some great running from him over the last few weeks.
We see Dyson all over the back of Double D. Dave Douglas at the moment, putting him under pressure. And, well, a big deficit of tyre stint length. Dave Douglas, 23 lap old tyres. Dyson, 10 lap old tyres. So this is going to be a fairly decent, well, fairly easy pass for position. Not much you can do when you're on that older tyre set.
Look, Dave's just got to settle and stay up that front, up that pointy end. You know, as long as he's in that top 10 at the end of the race, towards the end, he definitely have a good go at the race win.
Yeah, never discount Dave Douglas. We'll see what he can do in the latter stages, and he's going to try for. He was one of the earlier stoppers in that last stint, so he'll probably be down the lane a little bit earlier again, try and build up a bit of a lead. And all it takes is a lucky caution or an unlucky caution, and your race is all of a sudden shot back into the top step. But at the moment, this man, the mean purple machine, it is Jason Martin, and he has got a 6-second lead over Andrew Dyson, just getting past Kate Donnelly there for putting him down a lap. But Jason Martin absolutely on fire here tonight. Is flying, and well, not really a huge shock to anybody, that one, Mark. Jason Martin, one of the most successful oval racers in Australia. He is definitely one of those drivers. If you can beat him, you can definitely feel proud of yourself.
Oh, definitely right there, Carl. Especially in the trucks. You know, he's also turning his hand now at some circuit racing over with us at Aussie Outlaws in the GT3s. Up there at the pointy end, but whenever he's in a field, you know that you got a race on your hands, and yeah, you definitely want to, if you can beat him, as you said, you want to be mighty proud of yourself.
Yeah, I must admit, the last week at Donington, having Jason Martin closing me down for a podium, it was a bit of a scary moment indeed. Put me under a fair amount of pressure. Definitely would have much rather had a nice easy race where nothing happened, but no, really, really good to see Jason out there on the circuit stuff as well, turning his hands to some slightly different racing, and he's had some good success in the endurances with the Mitch Motorsport team himself, Josh Micklemore, Hamish Gallagher, and of course Danny G. So it is great to see that team coming along so well, and they are definitely one of those groups of drivers that are just hard to beat in anything. Now they've turned their hands to some of the GT racing. They really are improving everywhere at the moment, and definitely gives a challenge to everybody out there. Barry Neal at the moment, though, is challenging Shane Bowen, and we have got the Kiwi on Shane Bowen at the moment, and Barry is going to see what he can do here. Can he get it up past here for P8? Would not discount the Ayatura racing driver at all, because we know how quick Barry Neal is, and he will once again be putting Shane Bowen under some serious pressure.
So we just into the quiet section of the race. You know, that mid section, and everyone's just settled into a nice rhythm now. We won't see a great deal of action, I'd say, until we get to that round that 120 mark with the 30 laps to go. It's I'd say it'll be on, and especially if we get a caution, it's definitely going to bring this race back to life.
Yeah, do not think that this lull is going to last forever. We are going to start seeing some more action as the laps start counting down. The gap to the lead, about 5 seconds at the moment between Martin and Dyson. Quite a big difference on tyre life though. Dyson and Lachlan Urquhart are both on much fresher tyres. They're going to be closing that gap very quickly. Also got this battle out here as well between Micklemore and Williams. Stevie Dubb out there, and he's got Josh Micklemore on his tail. Two very experienced pilots of these cars. Very, very, very good drivers, and this is going to be a pretty fun battle to watch.
Yeah, it definitely is. We know that Micklemore's strong in these cars, but so is Williams. Williams now, I'd say, be around the 450 mark race start for ANZCAR. So some great experience there in that 98 Chevrolet. Is it a Chev that he's running tonight? Yes, maybe.
Yeah, just a couple of race starts between these two. We've got some good action out on track at the moment. We'll keep our eyes and try and follow the battles as they come. This is one of the closest at the moment. Can Micklemore make the move on Stevie Dubb? Stevie Dubb is going to be not the easiest man to pass as well. A wily veteran that he is. And these two drivers are on slightly different tyre strategies as well. Remember, Micklemore stayed out a little bit longer, so he's got about 10 lap fresher tyres. So that is really going to help him on the exit of the corner, and he gets a good drive off there. Stevie Dubb still defending though, making life hard for Micklemore. But those fresher tyres are going to really help out, I'm sure. As you see, Micklemore's able to take a much tighter line. He'll get a little bit better purchase off the corner, as well as he's got a little bit more meat on those tyres. And he will just about be able to get this move done on Stevie Dubb, moving himself up into 5th position.
Yeah, 10 laps difference there in the tyre wear, so there's no wonder that Micklemore was able to make that pass look relatively easy. But Williams isn't giving it away easy. He's coming back as hard as he can. So this will carry on for a little bit longer. But in the background there, we just seen the 7th place man, Ruben Phelps, the flying Kiwi in the 06. He's starting to close in on this battle too. So 3 or 4 laps, and I say he'll be right up here battling Stevie Dubb for that position.
Oh, big tank slapper on the wall there. Shane Bowen giving that wall a big hit, and that is going to hurt his momentum and give Barry Neal the opportunity he needs. You cannot make a mistake with Barry Neal behind you. He's like a shark. As soon as he sniffs blood, he will pounce, and that's what's happened as Barry Neal moves up into 8th position. Bowen there learning a critical lesson. Do not make a mistake in front of Barry Neal, because he will pounce. And as it always goes, once you make that mistake once, you seem to make it a couple of times. Shane Bowen really starting to struggle, and he's given that wall a fairly big clatter. The right side of that Cobalt Racing entry is looking a little bit worse for wear, Mark.
Yeah, definitely right. And just doing some figures, Carl. The magic number for the guys that started that pitted late the magic number is lap 90. So anyone that pits after lap 90 can make it home on what they put on, what fuel they put on, and the tyres that they put on.
Yeah, not too far off from that magical lap now. And who will we see coming in first? That's going to be the big one. As we see Dyson just taking a little bit of draft from behind Fox there and gets himself up another position. Wesley Closey right behind him at the moment as well. These guys doing a fantastic job out here tonight. As we said, Worldwide Technology Speedway is not the easiest place. Gateway is a tricky track indeed. And everybody doing a fantastic job here tonight of keeping themselves out of too much trouble. We have lost Scott Lefevre, Tom Williams and Greg Sholton from the race, it looks like. But we haven't seen any big incidents and no caution flags here tonight so far on lap 90 of 150 here on Performance E-Streaming.
So anyone that pits from here on can make it home on the fuel and tyres. But it's still a lot to ask out of these tyres.
Yeah, I imagine we'll see some people just trying to extend a little bit just to give them a better chance latterly in the stint, because they just want to get that little bit of extra life in the tyres. They don't want to be left absolutely defenceless at the end, so they will be just giving themselves a little bit of leeway, I'm sure. But you don't want to leave it too late. If you leave it too late, you can't use those tyres to get that time back. So everybody's going to be thinking of that. I reckon we're going to see a whole glut of cars coming into the lane on lap 100 as they split the race into nice equal distances. But I'm sure we'll see a few people sticking it out just in case we do get one of those late cautions, because that could be a game changer.
Yeah, we just seen there Dyson getting a little bit loose coming off the two. But no harm. He was able to keep it out of the wall, and I must apologise. The DPR boys are in Toyotas, Carl.
I'm pretty sure that's not a Toyota. That does not look Toyota-like to me on Dyson. Stevie Dub is, however, in a Toyota. Yeah.
I got confused there. I thought I was on Dyson, but yeah, Stevie Dub is definitely in a Toyota.
And I would definitely say Dyson is in the Chevrolet.
Yeah. Definitely right there. Just let me take myself out the back and beat me around the head.
Yeah, you're going to get a visit from GM soon, I'm sure. Speaking of Chevys, it is the Chevy of the Mitch Motorsport car. Jason Martin in the lead, 3 seconds ahead of Andrew Dyson, and absolutely pounding around, putting in some good laps at the moment. Martin has been flying out here tonight well, not a huge amount of surprise if you know Jason Martin. It is a track that suits him very, very well, and he is absolutely showing it here tonight in this X-Finity car. But Dyson and Urquio are closing the gap a little bit here. They are managing to chew away a little bit and bring the gap down.
Yeah, now the gap's down under 3 seconds, so that's a great result for both Urquio and Dyson. So good to see. Ruben Phelps still sitting back there. He's slowly closing in on Williams. So I wouldn't be surprised though if we see him in the last stint of the race really come to life.
Yeah, remember Phelps stopped relatively late. He's on 33 lap old tyres as well, so he's got a bit of a tyre advantage over Stevie Dub, 44 lap old tyres at the moment. So closing in on that gap, and he's going to be thinking about what he can do in this final stint as well. See what he can do for this race and see where he can finish in this one. Not too many close battles out on track at the moment. Battle between Stevie Dub and Rubens Phelps, one of the closer. We've also got Norman Clark out there with Brad Fenley as well. And Fenley just about 0.7 of a second away from Norman Clark. This is a battle for 14th and 15th position, but everybody else has got a fairly okayish gap to them at the moment. So it's really going to be who comes in first for that pit stop. And I'm going to guess that it's going to be Dave Douglas. He's going to be one of the first leaders to come into the lane for a fresh set of boots and a little bit of extra fuel. And he'll be coming in for his final stop relatively soon. Although I think we may have Cade Donnelly pulling it in now as well. So we're starting to see the second set of stops happening, and it's Cade Donnelly, one of the first drivers to take that opportunity. As the 21 of Martin still leads here tonight, and he's still setting some decent pace out there. He's only about a 10th of a second shy of Andrew Dyson, and that's why this gap is not closing at a vast rate of knots. Dyson has much fresher tyres, but Jason Martin just has great speed out here tonight. He's able to offset that deficit a little bit and just keep that car under a decent amount of pace. The gap has closed to about 2 seconds, but it is not closing nearly as quick as some of those drivers would want.
Yeah, that's right. Just looking back here at our newcomer Ed Fox, still out there rotating, doing a nice lap of around 35.7. So not bad for his first race out here in the Thunder Series. So good to see him is still rotating out there.
Crucially, looking like his car is clean as well, so no damage on either side of that car, so that is a good job indeed. And look, this is what you need to do, is just get some laps under your belt, just get some clean running and just get used to the car and the series. You know, you, as much as you want to get out there and win it in your first attempt, sometimes it's better just to take that little bit of extra care and just go a little bit slower just to get that experience under your belt. We've got Norman Clark making a move on David Webb here as well. David Webb having a good run in 13th position, one of the newer drivers to the series in the 58. And he has just been passed by one of the veteran drivers of the series, Norman Clark.
And he's heading for the pit lane.
And a bit of a mistake on entry there as well. Sorry, I just missed that with the camera, but it just ran a little bit wide. Dave Douglas as well, pulling it into the lane. So, as I said, expect to see Double D into the lane relatively soon. And indeed, he pulls it in now with the number 10. So, we are seeing these second set of pit stops happening pretty much bang on lap 100 mark.
Yeah, definitely as we thought. They haven't made a liar of us tonight, Carl.
No, I mean, I guess it helps not talking to the drivers, because it's helped us by not listening to what those liars say to us. Neil Pearson was caught out by Andrew Dyson, telling him that he was going to try one stop, and Dyson deciding he couldn't do it. So Neil Pearson learning a valuable lesson there. Never listen to drivers, because they always lie.
So we've currently got 8 cars on the lead lap, but that will change once this cycle of pit stops gets through. We'll get back out to probably 10 or 12 cars. But great to see everyone out there still circulating. As you said earlier, Carl, we've only lost 4 drivers out of the field, so we're still got 17 cars out there circulating. So it's good to see these guys getting laps under their belts.
Absolutely. The gap has shrunk for the lead, though. Dyson is starting to close in on Martin now, and the battle for the lead is starting to heat up. And, well, this is always a tasty battle. 2 very experienced pedallers and 2 drivers that are very eager to take victories. When will we see Martin pull the trigger, and will we see Dyson come in as well, as Lachlan Urquio pulls it into the lane? And he has come in for his stop. So Urquio making a short stint of it this time. He was one of the last drivers to stop last time round, but he has come in early this time, trying to get a little bit of an undercut. So it is Urquio that's decided to try something a bit different. When will we see Martin and Dyson come in? They can't leave it too late, but they will try and, well, they want to come in relatively soon.
I've heard no radio chatter yet from either of these guys, so we'll keep an eye on it, and they may be going for the long stint and hoping that there's a caution.
Yeah, but as we know all too well, Mark, you know, if you're relying on a caution, it will never come. Cautions only come when it's not going to be useful to you as a driver.
Yeah, and we can still see Martin using that cement on the outside of the exit of turn 2 there. That little bit of extra to try and get that drive. But we can now see that gap is down to under a second. It's down now under half a second. So this battle is really going to heat up, Carl. Jason Martin's on a 52 lap old tyres, and Dyson now on 44 laps. So we're definitely going to see a tyre difference here. And Gary Willman has just come out of the pit lane, so that's why he's got some speed there.
Yeah, they are. I wonder if they're just sticking it out because they just want to have this battle at the moment. They're just enjoying themselves, and this could be a really good news for somebody like Urquio, who should be able to get the jump on them. But that's going to come back to bite him as the tyres change a bit, as we see Dyson going down the inside of Martin here. He's going to try and make the move on the track here and get up into the lead of the race once more, as Andrew Dyson makes the move underneath Jason Martin, moves himself up into the lead. Can Martin get the drive off the corner, get it back underneath him? Not quite. It is Dyson taking the lead over Martin here on lap 108.
So will we? The question now is, will Martin decide to pull the pin? And yes, as I say that, he's in the pit lane now. So Martin's had enough. He's coming in to get that last set of rubber on and some fuel, and looking for a little bit of an undercut there on Dyson.
You see how much Jason Martin was attacking the line there. He absolutely was going hell for leather. Now Dyson has to respond to this. He can't keep it out too long. He really cannot afford to do that here, because that's just going to hurt him. And well, we saw it took almost 60 odd laps to get himself back up to Jason Martin, and he pulls it in now, but he runs wide again. Big mistake from Dyson, big runoff on the grass, and that is just going to slow him down a little bit, cost him time. He locks it up and just gets it slowed down for the entry, but again, uncharacteristic mistake from Andrew Dyson there. Just gets himself caught on the pit lane, as we see Jason Martin coming out, and well, we appear to have lost Lachlan Urquio from the race, unfortunately. Looks like some kind of technical issue for Lachlan Urquio, and we've seen him drop out once again. A real big shame for a driver that had some really good pace here tonight.
Yeah, real unfortunate. 2 weeks in a row now where he's had an issue, a technical issue, and he was in a fantastic spot to take a top 3 position tonight.
Somehow, even with that mistake, Andrew Dyson has managed to get through pit lane faster than Jason Martin and get himself back out on track into the lead. Dyson absolutely gunning it there, and he made up. Well, he's obviously just about made it through and survived that attack from Jason Martin.
Yeah, and it's now promoted Dave Douglas back up into third place. Good run there now for Shane Bowen up into fourth, and Ruben Phelps up into fifth, and Josh Micklemore in fifth. Stevie Williams in seventh, Barry Neal in eighth, Gary Willman in ninth, and Wesley Closely in 10th.
Yeah, Shane Bowen now just starting to struggle a little bit. He came in for an earlier stop, and his tyres are starting to drop off a little bit as he gets passed by Ruben Phelps and Josh Micklemore. Their next target is going to be Dave Douglas, but they've got to make up a whole heap of time, about 13 seconds to close up on the back of Double D. Can they do it? It's going to be a tricky ask for sure. Stevie Dubb and Barry Neal now closing in on Shane Bowen as well. So lots of battles out on track. And, well, do not stop thinking that the battle for the lead is going to be over as well, because Jason Martin is flying at the moment and trying to close that gap on Andrew Dyson. 114 laps of 150 here at Gateway, and this is the battle for 6th position at the moment. 6th, 7th and 8th on screen. Got Stevie Dubb putting Shane Bowen under all kinds of pressure. He's on the attack. Can he make the move here as we see the DPR car getting down the inside of the Cobalt entry, and the 98 moves himself up into 6th position. Shane Bowen really a bit of a handicap at the moment on those older tyres, not able to fight too much, but can he get himself into the top 10 tonight? Looking pretty good at the moment, but he's still got a long way to go. Next up is Barry Neal, who's going to start putting him under pressure, and well, Shane Bowen had to defend and fight against Barry Neal that last stint and put him under all kinds of pressure. Now he has to do it all over again as he has got the orange, well, the papaya car right behind him once more. The Ayatora Racing entry is putting him under all kinds of pressure.
Yeah, now I've just been watching both Dyson and Martin at the front there, and they are both using that cement arctrave on the outside of that turn now. So it's still nice and close. Still 0.2 of a second gap between first and second.
Yeah, we're going to jump up to the lead now because the battle is on as Jason Martin's putting Dyson under all kinds of pressure now. Martin has absolutely switched it on and he is going into attack mode, and this fight is going to get juicy. As we ride on board with Jason Martin here, gives you an idea of the speed. You know, these cars are going a fair amount of knots, you know, up to 160, 170 miles per hour down the straights, and keeping it at about 110 through the corners. You know, a very, very quick racetrack. And, you know, you kind of forget the speeds when you're looking at it from the outside. You forget just how fast these cars are going and how much speed they carry. Sorry, kilometres per hour. Miles per hour, let's say. You know, almost huge amounts of speed, and you know, you can just see here the attack going on, and Jason Martin just trying all kinds of moves here, trying to put him under pressure. And this is going to be the big question in these final 30 laps, Mark, is can Martin do it? Can Martin get past Dyson, get himself back into the lead? Jason Martin leading most of this race so far. Can he get himself back up there, or can Dyson defend against the wily veteran that is Jason Martin?
Well, with Dyson out in front, you've got to say it's a hard thing to get past Dyson. But in saying that too, Carl, all it takes is a little bit of a slip or a slide, and Martin will be all over him, and definitely a dive have a dive at taking that race lead back.
Yeah, if I know Jason Martin, he will not be giving up easily. It will be very much a full-on assault, and he's going to be really putting him under all kinds of pressure here and seeing what he can do to get himself back up into the lead. But, as you said, catching's one thing, passing is another, and Andrew Dyson is not the easiest of men to pass on a racetrack. He will be defending like a lion out there tonight. Jump up to the blimp cam, get a bit of an idea of from the overhead shots as well, and you know, they're carrying slightly different speeds through different parts of the track, but they're just not able to make the move, and Dyson just keeping himself on in the middle of the line and just stopping Martin from having a sniff up the inside. He's positioning that car beautifully at the moment.
The other battle that we've got going on at the moment, Carl, is fourth and fifth. Josh Mickelmore all over the back of Ruben Phelps. So that's another one that we need to keep an eye on too.
Always the tricky part of the broadcast is too many cars, too few cameras, and that makes it so much trickier sometimes. But we'll jump back to this battle for fourth and fifth at the moment as Mickelmore putting Ruben Phelps under all kinds of pressure. Can he make the pass? These two on exactly the same stint length of tyres, 15 laps each. So there is no advantage or disadvantage here. It's just going to be who can get that car positioned right, who can get this race position, and they are going to be fighting each other extremely hard. Again, two very, very hard races out on track at the moment, and they will be making it as hard as possible for each other.
Yeah, definitely right. And we've now down to the last 25 laps of the race. We've still got Dyson out front with Martin in behind. Dave Douglas in third. Then you're watching the battle for fourth and fifth between Ruben Phelps and Mickelmore.
And they are catching Dave Douglas, not at a vast speed, but they are closing the gap as Ruben Phelps and Mickelmore continue on. And I wonder if we'll see these two just not battling too hard to see if they can close in on Douglas, because that could be an opportunity for a podium tonight for these two drivers if they can make it up past the A1 Sim Sports driver. But there's a lot of, still a lot of time to make up, about 7 seconds. Brad Fenley, David Webb also battling it out on track at the moment, and this is the battle for 11th position as they continue on here tonight. But we'll jump back to this P4, P5 spot at the moment because Mickelmore is all over the tail of Ruben Phelps, but he's not lunging at the moment, and that just tells me that they're not really battling too hard at this stage, but that can all change very, very quickly. So we'll definitely keep an eye on this fight as well as the battle for the lead, because Jason Martin is starting to make a move on Dyson once again. Maybe just letting those tyres cool off a little bit. He's now going on the attack once more. The 21 and the 41 doing battle here at Gateway.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Carl, this is now the closest this gap's been. It's down to 0.1 of a second. So it was out to 0.3, down to 0.2, back out to 0.3. But this now has really come alive this last 25 laps. We're really seeing Martin all over the back of Dyson.
Yeah, Dyson will not easily crack under pressure as well. Jason Martin will be putting on all the pressure he can. So this is going to be a real fight to the end. And well, Martin is really hustling that car at the moment, really trying to make the move. Only a lap difference between the tyres on these two cars in the favour of Andrew Dyson, but that's not going to make too much difference out here tonight. The fight is definitely on.
Yeah, and look, I'm just checking on the time difference there. Dave Douglas has got a nice little gap over Ruben Phelps, nearly out to 7.5 seconds. So Dave just needs to concentrate on driving the car in nice and square, and getting it out, not overexciting those tyres, because there is 8 laps difference between Phelps and Dave Douglas's tyres. So Dave just needs to concentrate and stay that 7 seconds in front, and he should be able to get that third step on the podium.
Yeah, Douglas is actually setting some fairly good lap times at the moment. He's one of the only other drivers in this group that's in the 34s last time round, and that was a bit faster than Phelps and Micklemore, who just started to lose a little bit of time, and I think they're starting to battle a little bit out on track, and that's going to be a huge boon for Douglas. As those two start to fight, it's going to just slow them down and stop them encroaching on the back of that A1 Sim Sports car.
Again, a great race by everyone out here tonight. Some great racing, some great challenges, and again, as we get to this closing stage, we just not sure where to look. Not sure whether to keep an eye on the Dyson and Martin, or check back and check on Phelps and Micklemore, because it's two great battles happening right now.
Yeah, the gap about 0.4 of a second between Phelps and Micklemore at the moment. Keeping an eye on the timing screens at the moment myself, and also Gary Wellman, Shane Bowen as well, getting close to each other on track, and if those timing drops too low, we'll jump back, but we'll keep our eyes on the leaders for the time being, and see if this battle for the lead and the win of this race can heat up.
Now, this lap traffic that's coming up, that's probably going to play a little bit of a role too, because we can see now Wellman down the inside. I think that was Clark. So we've got to hope that these guys realise that the leaders are coming up, and looks like they have. They've moved stayed to that high line, not trying to drop down and take that preferred racing line away.
We apologise about the pop-up on screen there. Sorry, we're trying to do stuff in the background as we continue on. But yeah, now they're starting to get up to some traffic, and that could really change how this race comes through.
Yeah, well, they've been able to get past Clark and Wellman unabated, so that's good news. So that they're still free to battle on. But that gap now is back out to 0.3 of a second. So we will see this close up here now, with Dyson getting held up there behind Bowen, but it's only going to be temporary. He's moves to the inside, down the inside he'll go. He'll get past, and Bowen's doing the right thing, staying up high. He knows it's the race leader, and he's also allowed Martin to get past without too much hassle. That gap there back to between Phelps and Micklemore is now almost out to a second, so Micklemore's just struggling now with tyres.
Yeah, and it can be the case when you're sitting right under the rear spoiler of somebody in front of you, that it just cuts away some of the air, and you can overheat the tyres a little bit quicker, and you just struggle with that a little bit, and it is a very common issue. We've got this battle on screen at the moment as well, Gary Wellman and Shane Bowen, and Wellman in the 45 putting Bowen under pressure, but Bowen holding on nicely here. About 4 laps difference in their tyre life, but this little fight is definitely one to keep an eye out for as well. The other one is going to be Stevie Dubb, who's closing in on Josh Micklemore now, as Micklemore just drops off from Ruben Phelps, as Stevie Dubb starts to see an opportunity arise for himself. So we'll definitely keep an eye on all of that action as we come to the final few laps of this race. But well, we still have plenty of racing left this week, Mark, of course, because on Saturday night we have some more action over at the Aussie Outlaws.
Yeah, that's a big one, the 600 at Charlotte. So definitely be looking forward to broadcasting that, and some great action heating up there as we hit around mid-season.
Absolutely, and well, it's a big weekend for the 600s as well, because we have the ANZCAR flavour of that as well on Sunday. On Sunday, of course, it's going to be the 600 for the crown. For the crown, it's going to be a busy weekend for us both.
Yeah, definitely right. In the booth on Saturday night, and then again on Sunday afternoon. I'm actually looking forward to both those races. So it's going to be interesting to see who gets crowned.
Oh! Big hit. I was just about to say Gary Wellman managed to get past Shane Bowen, but that is not what he needed to do. Clipped the wall. Heavy impact there, and Shane Bowen went into the back, and Gary Wellman is going to be struggling now. A lot of damage on the rear of that car. Did it cause any damage to Shane Bowen? They seem to have gotten away relatively unscathed from that one, but that could have been an easy caution there.
Yeah, that would have been the caution to bring the whole field in, I'd say, and put on that last set of rubber if anyone's got it. So just looking back at Phelps and Mickelmore, nice little gap now for Phelps. So he's definitely got fourth sewn up. Mickelmore and then Williams. Dave Douglas still out by himself, all nice and calm. But the definitely with 10 laps to go, the race lead is where we need to focus our attentions on.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty of action to come, and well, next week as well, we will be having the Legends heading off to Talladega, the beautiful 87 cars on that super speedway. So on a Monday night, if you're looking for something to do, make sure to head on over for that, because that's going to be a laugh riot. And well, towards the end of the week, next week, there's going to be some more GT3 action over on the with the Aussie Outlaws on Checkered Flag Eastern, Mark.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've had to move the race from Wednesday night to Friday night. You know, we pride ourselves on not clashing with any other league racing or major sporting events, and we didn't realise or we didn't know the dates when we released the calendar, and the drivers was asked to vote, and they decided to move it to a Friday night at Snetherton. Yeah, it should be some exciting stuff for that. So plenty of action in the week, this week coming up over the next 7 days. 8 days, I should say. Plenty of racing action to come. But we are being treated to some great stuff here at Gateway. This is the battle for 5th and 6th at the moment between Stevie Dubb and Josh Mickelmore. The battle for the lead as well has just started to extend a little bit, because they've caught some traffic, and it's just been at the wrong place for Jason Martin, because he's lost about half a second to Andrew Dyson here, and it is just starting to slip away, you got to say, for Martin. Yeah, definitely right, and the lap car there has realised that it's the race leaders there, so he's moved to the low side to let Martin have a clear run. But unfortunately for that's going to hinder that battle. But the battle here for 5th and 6th is really starting to heat up between Mickelmore and Williams.
Yeah, it's almost a mirror battle, of course. You've got a Mitch car and a DPR car, and it is in the opposite direction. It's a Mitch car defending from a DPR car at the moment, as we see Williams going down the inside, making the move. This is for 5th position. Can he get it stuck down the inside as Stevie Dub makes the move. Stevie Dub on slightly older tyres, but he's got the pace at the moment and he gets the move done. Can he make it stick down the straight? Looks like he's just got himself just in front of Micklemore's nose and he moves himself up into 5th position.
We're going to go caution. Caution, caution, caution.
Oh, Nicholas Fox and David Webb there making contact.
Just seen it out the back as I switched over my camera view, and it was a cross up, and yeah, it's a shame with 4 laps to go. We now have a real battle on our hand. We're not only going to have 2 cars racing for the lead, we're going to have 5 cars.
Well, that has dramatically changed the outcome of this race. We're jumping back to a replay now. This is Ed Fox on screen. Let's see what's happened here and what's caused this caution for the 610. We will probably see getting a bit wide and getting up into the wall. Nicholas Crawford as well having a bit of a moment too. So Crawford gets up into the wall, gets a bit wide, makes a bit of contact. Will we see contact here between Fox and Crawford as they're going through the corner? Crawford up into the wall, they make contact, and that is what brought out the caution. And then we see there just, big impact to the 58 as well, had nowhere to go.
Sorry mate, just an update. Dyson and Martin in pit lane.
Yeah, I think we're going to see everybody ducking in for a fresh set of boots. We might see somebody stick it out just in case they do get a caution, but I don't think anybody is going to do that, are they? Shane Bowen is going to get the wave around.
Douglas in, Phelps in, Williams in, Micklemore in.
This is a crucial pit stop for all these guys. They need to hit their marks perfectly. They're going to take 4 sets of tyres, I'm sure. You might see somebody risk it with 2 and see what they can do. As we see Dyson getting out early. And Dyson looks like he only took 2 tyres. So Andrew Dyson just took 2 sets of tyres. So did Dave Douglas.
Williams, I say, has only taken 2.
Williams as well. So, interesting. Is that going to come back to bite those drivers? Will the 4 sets of tyres be the right option, or will the 2? Jason Martin didn't lose any spots with that 2-set gamble. Andrew Dyson remained in the lead, but he is going to be on slightly worn tyres. Well, we said that all chaos could happen if we see a caution mark, and, I think we're about to see that prediction come true.
Yeah, definitely right. And we are into our overtime.
If you're new to oval racing, that's a green light checker, and that means we just get an extension of the race, so we get a chance to finish under green. This is going to get some people back on the lead lap as well with the old wave arounds and lucky dog positions. And I'm sure there's going to be a few people taking advantage of that. Shane Bowen coming in for his stop as he got the lucky dog with that one. That's going to be a welcome sight indeed. Jason Martin just testing out the concrete out there, making sure it all feels nice and safe. And just saying to Dyson, I'm coming for you. Dave Douglas, remember he had some really good short run pace. Can he take advantage of that here? We know that Dave is quick tonight as well. He started out from pole position, so this is going to be a pole position, or he started on the front row, so this is going to be a big battle up the front as well. So I think it's going to be on here, Mark. Will we see another caution? That's going to be the question. Will they make it to the green flag, or are we going to see a second caution come up?
I don't know. I'm going to close my eyes because I'm not game enough to look.
Don't you usually do that when you're racing, Mark?
Yes, of course. I drive by feel.
Luckily, he has a guide dog in the car to help him, so, you know.
So this is going to be a real, like, you look at these top six drivers. Any one of these top six drivers can really, well, seven with Barry Neal there, but don't count out Shane Bowen either.
No, we could see a massive wreck and lots of people coming back to this one. Gary Wellman's back on the lead lap as well. So this is going to be a this is going to be an interesting one, and there are a fair few cars just on two sets of tyres, and they're going to have to be careful not to spin the wheels up. They've got to be so cautious not to spin the car. It's so easy to make a mistake when you've only changed the right side of these tyres. So plenty of things that can go wrong. Pace car is going to be peeling in, and we're going to be going back to green flag racing here. Who is going to make it work? We're going to find out in just a few short laps time as we get to the restart zone, and they get away, and it's a good start for Dyson, bad start for Douglas. He gets a lot of wheel spin off the line. We are back to green flag racing.
Too wide into turn one. Douglas gets a little bit of a wobble up. Phelps has made a great jump. He is into third place. Still, Barry Neal into the war hard.
Which of those tyre options going to pay off as they come in? As it looks like Martin's got some good pace. Ruben Phelps on 4 sets of tyres too. He's managed to jump a few of those drivers as it is all go. And around goes Stevie Dubb. Stevie Dubb goes around. Big moment in the background. And that has brought out the caution flag.
So, overtime part 2.
This is going to really shake things up, I am sure, because, well, you've got to say, though, the drivers on 4 tyres, they're going to have nice temperature in there now. They're going to have a second shot at this. We saw some of the drivers that just changed to 2 tyres really struggling on that restart, and this is probably not what they wanted to see.
No, definitely not. Dyson made a great start there. But the one that made the flyer was Ruben Phelps. A great start.
Let's see if we can go back, catch some of that replay, and we'll keep an eye on Stevie Dubb here. And, well, it was plenty of action throughout the pack. We saw the front, but that was so close to the white flag as well. They were just millimetres away from finishing this race. Stevie Dubb losing the rear. Was there any contact involved with that? Was there anything to go? No, just the back end stepping out on him. Around she goes. And, well, great job from everybody behind to avoid that spinning car.
Yeah, definitely right. Great job there from Wesley to avoid him and the ones behind. But again, now we're back up the front. Is there anyone game enough to say we won't see another caution here?
Yeah, that's going to be one of the big things. I think that could definitely happen here. We could see the caution flag fly once more. I think we got 3 green white checker attempts. Trying to remember how many we've got. I'm sure Mark will quickly look that up for me. As we've got quite a few cars coming into the lane. So we go once again for another green-white checker. And, well, Dyson has to make a lightning fast start once again. And he has to do it perfectly once again. First time of asking, he absolutely nailed it. Can he do it the second time? That is going to be the question. And we saw how much Martin was putting him under pressure. Now Martin's got a bit more heat in those tyres. He's going to be able to really, really push. That could be a big advantage. So it's going to be all go, isn't it? It's all on.
Definitely is.
Now, sometimes the question can be fuel with these green-white checkers, but everybody coming into the lane will have gotten a little bit of extra gas in the tanks. I'm sure everybody will have a nice amount of go juice in the car, so that's not going to be an issue here tonight. But I'm sure that everybody's going to be thinking about what they can do on this restart, how they can get this one working, and, well, what they can do.
Okay, I've just looked up and I think there's been a little bit of a boo-boo. It's telling me 15 green-white checkers.
Ah, that sounds good. At least we're going to get a finish under green.
But I think if we go caution again, we may see some of these guys have to come down for fuel. Lights are out on the pace car, so we will go green next time by.
Once again.
Now, with Gary Willman back up there on the lead lap, I wouldn't even count him out for a nice little race win.
No, Gary Wellman's on some of the freshest tyres, I believe, as well. So he's just come in. He managed to get into the lane and get some fresh boots as well, because he got the lucky dog, the wave around, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be pretty useful for some of these guys. There's going to be some good options here.
So, does Dyson go early or does he go late? That's the big question. We see him go late last time.
And into the restart zone we go, and he gets off well. Jason Martin tried to preemptively do it, and he just had to lift off there. That cost him a tiny bit of time, but he's managed to keep it going. Josh Micklemore got a fantastic start behind him. So did Dave Douglas. Martin gets down on the inside. He's got underneath Andrew Dyson here. Can he get the run off the corner? Little bit of slide. Martin just loses a little bit on the exit. Dyson getting himself out into the lead as we come through here. They coming up to the white flag. Will we see them get across the line? Will we see the white flag fly? Looking good at the moment. Andrew Dyson still in the lead. Can Martin take it to him? They get to the line. The white flag will fly, and we are going to see the checkered flag next time out. Can Dyson hold it in the lead? Who is going to get second place? It is all go here at Gateway as Martin tries to attack Dyson. Can't quite get the drive off the corner. Now Dave Douglas is coming back at those drivers, getting a move on Josh Micklemore in the background, but it is Andrew Dyson in the lead. Just needs to make it round this final corner as Josh Micklemore goes sideways. Micklemore and Phelps make contact. They lose position. That's going to move Dave Douglas up into third position, but it's Andrew Dyson taking victory here tonight.
Wow-wee. What a great finish. Wow. Andrew Dyson, Jason Martin, Dave Douglas, and Shane Bowen got through to get fourth. Stevie Williams in fifth, Josh Micklemore in sixth, Barry Neal in seventh. So great race in the end.
Yeah, Wesley Closey up in P8 tonight. A fantastic finish for himself, with Ruben Phelps dropping down to 9th and Gary Wellman rounding out the top 10. But it is this man, Andrew Dyson, taking victory here tonight, celebrating in style. So as Dyson does terrible things to the diff on that car, we have a winner here tonight, and a fantastic race once again in these X-Finity cars. A fantastic finish as well Absolute grandstand stuff, and well, awesome job from everybody. Let us take a look at the final results for this race as we bring them up. It's Andrew Dyson taking victory ahead of Jason Martin. Dave Douglas comes home for his podium tonight in 3rd position. Shane Bowen in 4th with Stevie Dubb in 5th position. Josh Micklemore dropped down to 6th with Barry Neal 7th. 8th for Wesley Closey. Ruben Phelps 9th, and Gary Wellman rounding out our top 10. Brad Fenley comes home in 11th with Norman Clark 12th, 13th for Nicholas Crawford. Ed Fox brings it home 14th for Tristan Koch in 15th, 16th for Dave Webb, 17th for Lachlan Quio. Kay Donnelly in 18th position, 19th for Scott Lefevre, and Tom Williams in 20th. It's 21st for Greg Sholton, Kai Turner 22nd, and Jared Williams in 21st. Well, as we said, plenty more action coming up here on Performance E streaming as well on the weekend. We have on Sunday afternoon the Charlotte 600. It is going to be a fairly big event, one of the crown jewel events, and we hope we can catch you all there for that. Who will take victory on the weekend? I'm sure we're going to have many competitors out there trying for that victory out there. We also have, of course, coming up next week, Auto Club Speedway off to Fontana, and I'm going to be sitting up here all jealous of those drivers. One of the tracks that I absolutely adore, Mark.
Yeah, it's a shame that it's been now gone. But at least we can still live on and race it in the virtual world here on ANZCAR. It's going to be interesting to see how the guys do that with back to the 1.5s. So some great drivers to be had out there next week.
As we wait for the drivers to jump into the green room, I will be handing it over to Mark.
Well, we've got Dave Douglas there, so we might pull him up for our 3rd place getter. Dave Douglas, a pilot of the number 10 car. Welcome to the booth again this season, and what a great way to finish a race.
Oh, Mark, I don't know about that, mate. I was, mate, the green one checking before, I was cursing, mate. Tell you what, mate, far out, mate. I was like, I was talking to some of the other guys, and like, I'm happy just to cruise down to the end. Like, I wanted a caution earlier in the race, but now I'm where I am. I got no one in front, no one behind. I'm bored. Let's just finish the race, and I'll take a nice, easy P3. Sure enough, bloody caution comes out, and then I just get swamped on that restart. Luckily, somehow we got a caution, and then yeah, like I said, I was blowing up. I could feel my temperature rising under the caution.
Got to ask you, did you take 4 or 2 that last stop under the caution?
I only took 2 outside. I thought I'd try to take the 2 just to try and help it turn, and I also wanted to make sure I was starting P3 because I thought that was going to be where I get a better jump, but then I stuffed the gear change up. I changed too early, and they sort of swamped me a bit. So, but yeah, 2 on the outside, and I didn't even think of fuel. Luckily, iRacing thought of that for me, and it put a little bit extra in, and I had 4 laps. So it was probably good for that restart only. If it went yellow again, I'd have to pit, I reckon.
Yeah, well, Carl and I said that you guys would have probably looked at maybe 1 or 2 overtimes, but after that, I think a lot of you would have had to come down pit lane again for a splash, and you've just proven that right. So, but nevertheless, mate, it's a great way to continue the season in the X-Finity car. So yeah, some great racing, and it's shaping up to be the same as the trucks this series, Dave.
Yeah, it's been good. So that's 2/3 in a row. So it's in succession, which is good, which Nelly wasn't. But then all of a sudden I was cruising down the back straight. I thought, I should have Josh covered at least, but I won't get to Ruben, I don't think. And then I was like, why is he just lifted? Like, it looked like he just had a quick lift or something. I thought something happened in front of him. So I thought, no, I'm sending it on him now. Like, he's lifted. I'm going to send it no matter what. And then he just kept lifting. And I was like, oh, well, this makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, he ended up dropping back down to 9th. So I don't know. Yeah. He ran out of fuel, or
yeah, he definitely ran out of fuel. Like, the first one I saw and noticed, and then once he did the second cough, then I was like, he's out of fuel.
Right.
But then, unfortunately, the unfortunate victim is Josh, because we would have had a good run to the line. Him on the outside would have got a good run, and it would have been a good battle. But he got tagged, and got served there. So
It
unfortunate
doesn't
for
matter.
Josh.
It doesn't matter. It's only Josh.
Yeah, that's it. Old JM's and his teammate in crime, Jason, they were having a good battle up there with Daiso, and I think I was fourth anyway on speed, but I'm not sure what happened to Lockie. He dropped out, but he was going real good up there. So unlucky.
Yeah, unfortunately for Lockie, it looks like a second week in a row. Some technical issues with his internet, and he dropped out again. So
Shame for
might
him.
might try and get hold of him through the week and see exactly what happened with him, whether it was just a technical issue or he had to jump out like some of us do sometimes from races.
No, that's it. And him and I race hard, so we rubbed the pedals there early in the race. That's all good, Like if we wreck each other, it's only because we're racing hard. It's not because we got dirty or anything each other. So it's shame to see him go, but at least it made it fun for a bit.
Yeah, well, we've said that right through this race. You guys are really racing hard, and you're leaning on each other, but there's no malice or dirty driving. It's just good, hard oval track racing.
Yeah, that's it. And these are the best cars. These are probably the best stock car on iRacing for just NASCAR routes, I guess. So they're a real good car to drive. Real driver's car, these ones.
Yeah, definitely are. Well, mate, I will comment on your new paint scheme. We've seen it now for a couple of weeks. So it's good to see you in something a little bit brighter and a little bit different.
Yeah, a little bit of change up.
Yeah, but before we let you go, we'll get you to do a shout out to sponsors and supporters.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, shout out to Riley Curtis Designs for the tricked out paintwork, the fresh skins. I get them regularly, so he just whacks them out whenever they ask, and he does it for fun. He probably does it too often, but he loves it. So I just whatever he sends me, I'll just go because I know it's going to look good. So shout out to him and A1 Simsport. He couldn't make it tonight. I think he's travelling down south somewhere, so he's in the Brisbane area, I believe. But shout out to him. Hopefully he's tuning in and checking out a bit of the broadcast. But other than that, ANZCAR and you boys putting on a show, and me being up here for a second week in a row. Let's keep it rolling. Let's go 3 in a row.
Yeah, all right, mate. Well, thanks for that. Thanks for your time tonight. And before I let you go, I've just got to say one thing. Go the Blues.
Ah, mate, get out of here. Up the Maroons, baby.
All right, Dave. Thanks for your time tonight, mate. And congratulations again on third place. And hopefully we are talking to you again, but maybe a step or two higher than you are tonight next week.
Sounds like a plan, boys.
Thanks, Dave.
No worries. Love you, mate.
Very happy Dave Douglas there. But next up, we have the pilot of the Purple 21 Mitch Motorsport car, Jason Martin. Welcome to the booth, mate, and congratulations on a hard-fought second place.
Yeah, cheers, mate. That was a long race, that one.
Mate, we were seeing you looking at trying to get a little bit more drive off a turn 2 out on that a little bit of extra concrete there. Seemed to be working for a couple of laps while your tyres were fresh, but then it just seemed to fade a little bit, and you didn't really get a great advantage out of it.
Yeah, it was real easy to overheat the right front with that setup, and anytime you'd push a little bit too hard, it just heated up, and then you'd be screwed for about 3 to 5 laps, and you'd have to wait for it to come good again. So yeah, that was messing me up a little bit.
Yeah, a great battle between you and Dyson again, and we've seen this week in, week out. You seem to, if it's not you up front in the lead, it's him. You guys are really taking the level up between the two of you, and really hard fought racing, leaning on each other, but not bashing each other to the extent where you're getting each other loose. It's just good, hard fought oval racing.
If I was with him near the end, it would have got a lot closer, and maybe some door banging down the straight.
But that's the last lap, mate. You've got to expect that. That doesn't matter whether you're here at Worldwide Tech or it's Daytona or Talladega or anywhere. It's the last lap. Nothing's out of the question.
Yep, time and a place. Got to pick your battles.
That's it, mate. Well, a great race again. Second place. Before we let you go, shout out to sponsors and supporters.
Yeah, got to thank the boys at Mitch Motorsports, our sponsor, Leppy Motorsports Concepts. You guys for putting on the broadcast, and ANZCAR for the league. And yeah, well done to Dyson on the win. Too good.
All right, mate. Well, we're off to Auto Club next week. Not one that we get to see in the real world, but it's great that we can still go there and have some great racing at that place.
Yeah, normally get some great races there, so hopefully it's a bit better than this one.
Yeah, definitely. Well, mate, congratulations again on second place, and hopefully we are talking to you next week for another podium, but maybe a step higher.
Yeah, that'd be good.
All right, mate. Thanks for your time tonight, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers, mate.
Now, Carl, you know I'm going to ask the pilot of the 41, Andrew Dyson, one thing. He made a liar out of us tonight. We've said right the way through that he's great getting in and out of pit lane, but he definitely made a liar of us. Mate, congratulations on the race win tonight. But the main question I've got to ask, what happened tonight with your pit entries?
Don't know, man. I don't know, it just went too fast. I mean, it's really simple as that. It just went too fast. But I think I was going so fast that it kind of negated any time lost. I mean, I don't know.
No, well, there was no time loss in the stops, in both the stops. It's just that it's so uncharacteristic to see you run wide. And we're up here in the booth scratching our head tonight.
Yeah, well, it did sneak up. I mean, yeah, I've raced this track a couple of times, and you kind of come into it and you think, oh yeah, I know how to get into pit lane, but you jump into a different car like this, it was so mega tight and so flat, it just wouldn't turn at all, and you kind of get in there and you're on the brake and you're doing everything you can and it doesn't turn, and then the corner ends up being way tighter than even what you remember, suddenly, probably mostly because the car doesn't turn. Yeah. So next thing you know, you're off the road. Simple as that.
We did say that this is probably one of the hardest pit lanes to get down, with it being so long, and as you said, the tight arc on getting in around the end of the actual pit lane itself. So it's a little bit different to most of the other tracks we go to.
Yeah, it's a tough one, probably in its own way. And you've got real tough ones like, oh gee, what's a really tough one? Like probably I don't know, Kansas
Bristol
seems like a real tough one.
Bristol's a tough one. Yeah,
a lot of people seem to mess up Dover pretty easily, but this one's tough in its own way, and that you kind of, the first part is you come in, it's way tighter than you think, and you're coming in there pretty quick, so you got to use a lot of brake. Then the second part of it is when you're coming in towards the yellow cone, you can't actually see it, and it's sort of like the wall. There's sort of like a tyre wall that juts out and obscures the yellow cone, so you can't see where you need to be slowed down by. So it's a little bit, tough in its own way.
Yeah, definitely. But apart from that, mate, what a great race. Again, an overtime race for two. You were able to get the jump on Martin on both starts. Just some great door-to-door racing between you and Martin so far this season, and it's just seems to continue with right through the whole field. The whole field is just so tough here with these X-Finity cars.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, like, just as an example, at the start of the race, I kind of got on the go slow, and when I decided to sort of go, I had cars that weren't really willing to let that happen. So it, that's racing. It was a battle through. I got through eventually, and had to sort of work out my race from there, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, it's what you expect. You don't expect anyone to give you an inch or or anything at all, really. I mean, everyone's entitled to race you as hard as they want for as long as they want. So, yep, had to battle and got there eventually. It was good though. So yeah, definitely some racing up and down the field, that's for sure.
Yeah, look, we said that through the truck series that it was tough racing, and it just seems like everyone's lifted their game again as we've come into the Thunder series. It's tough right throughout the field, whether you're starting on pole position or whether you're starting 23rd or 34th. It's a tough race right throughout the whole race, and everyone that gets the position is really fighting for that position now.
Absolutely, man. Even if you're 2 laps down, there's only 2 laps to go. Guys are, having a ding dong battle to the death. No, I'm only joking. I mean, I'm sure it's just a little accident, but yeah, I mean, people are definitely fighting tooth and nail for every bit they can get. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, mate, congratulations on the race win. But before we kick you out and head off to our little drinks, shout out to sponsors and supporters.
Shout out to Hard Solo. That's great. Got me through the night. Shout out to all the boys in DPR, everyone who jumped in for a chat tonight. Appreciate that. South Wales, Simrigs. Who else is sponsoring the league now? I forget. I think it's Neuron Power.
Yep.
Get around those folks. Get around their facey. This, that. And yeah, thanks to you guys for putting it all together. I appreciate that.
No worries, mate. Well, congratulations again on another hard-fought battle and a race win. And off to Auto Club next week. So let's hope we're talking to you again post-race there.
Well, we can certainly hope so. I'll cross everything, all my fingers and toes.
All right, mate. Thanks for your time and congratulations again.
Cheers, guys. See ya.
Well, there you are, Carl. A happy chappy in Mr. Dyson, and really the whole top three have been very happy with their race win. And again, as I said through those interviews, some hard fought battles right throughout the field.
Yeah, absolutely. A fantastic race here tonight. A big thank you to everybody for joining us here tonight, and of course all the drivers out there for racing. Always a pleasure. And as we said, we are not done for the week here at Performance E-Streaming. On Sunday afternoon we have the Coke 600, we have the big race around Charlotte. Of course, also on Saturday, head over to Checkered Flag E-Streaming, where we will be, where they'll be having their 600 as well. So plenty of racing to come on the weekend. Plenty of action coming up here, and we hope you can join us for all of that. We look forward to seeing you, and then of course we will be back next week with Auto Club Speedway. From myself, Mr. Carl Wilkinson Withy, from Mr. Mark Johansson, and everyone here at Performance E-Streaming, we'll wish you a good night, and we will see you we'll see you on Sunday. Thank you so much for joining us, and good night.